Hesperia, a Warden Planet of the Octarius Sector, part of the Cordon Impenetra. A world controlled by humanity and under attack by a substantial force of the Orks. A world where the hopes of many are at stake. It all begins with an Inquisitor on a mission, in need of delivering an important document to the governor of the planet. His aircraft is shot down by a group of Orks. Shortly before ejecting from the plane, the Inquisitor sends a final unencrypted communication, containing the coordinates of his position and the request for the immediate activation of a recovery team, since that document cannot fall into the wrong hands. Landed in an area under the control of the Orks, the Inquisitor decides to hide the document and escape, trying to break out from the encirclement of the greenskins, so as to maximize the chances of getting the information to the Empire. Intercepted the communication, Orks and Imperials send kill teams in an attempt to recover the document before any other. Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warbands. Today we finally start the Kill Team narrative campaign. Orks and Astra Militarum are the first two armies to enter the campaign, and they will be lucky enough to fight in a Christmas-themed battlefield. Anyway, I'm Simone and I'll play the Astra.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I'll be playing Orks. Before we started, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you are not subscribed yet and want to help us, join our growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys!
Today's mission is a homemade version of Search and Retrieve. The two armies will have to deploy within these two areas. There are 3 points of interest and they are arranged in this way. The goal of this game is to search for the XM45 document, hidden in one of these 3 spots. To be able to search for the document, an operative must be within 1 inch from the points of interest and perform the action Search for Document, which costs 1 AP. In this mission, there is no need to be in control of the points to perform the action. Each point can be rummaged only 4 times and only once per turn per faction. The points of interest at the game level, we consider them as if they were pile of scraps, and scramble over and charge over actions can be used normally. Furthermore, being considered as pile of scraps, neither the tree nor the gazebo block the line of sight.
When an operative performs a search for document action, he gets a victory point. Also, if the paper has not yet been found, he can roll a d6, and with the 6, he finds it. Whoever finds the document earns an additional victory point. At the end of the game, the faction that controls the paper scores 2 victory points. If the document is carried by a friendly operative, that faction gains 3 victory points instead. There will also be 3 secondary objectives each that will award points. Each player can score a maximum of 12 points from the primary objectives and a maximum of 2 points from each secondary objective, for a total of 6. The player with the most victory points is the winner. The game will last 4 turns. Both armies start with 2 command points, earning 1 point at the start of each round.
Before we introduce you to the kill teams, please know that we'll need your help at the end of the game to choose the name of the winning kill team. Also, after the community has chosen the final name, there will be a small additional reward for the person who has proposed that name. If you want a chance to name the kill team, watch the video until the end. Krieg's kill team arrived on the planet Hesperia a few days ago at the request of the governor himself. Probably some political favor redeemed or something like that, because their original destination was in the center of the war in the Octarius Sector, and instead, there they are doing useless recovery missions. But orders are orders and they will do their duty at any cost. The spec op chosen for this kill team, the first mission they will have to follow during the campaign, is Victory or Death, the first operation of which is to win 6 games. The kill team is made up of 10 veteran guardsmen operatives and 1 ancillary support option. The leader of the kill team is a veteran sergeant armed with plasma pistol and power weapon. He has personally chosen the man to bring on this mission. His second in command is the confident veteran armed with a bolt gun. He'll take the lead in case something happens to the leader. Heavy weapons are handled by 3 gunner veterans armed with a flamer, a plasma gun, and a meltagun. The other kill team operatives are Medic, Zealot, Demolition, Sniper, and Spotter. As ancillary support, I have chosen Trooper Veterans, which allows me to deploy 4 additional Trooper operatives. The leader has chosen 4 Cadians as support. The kill team start the campaign with 4 requisition points to use in upgrades. I spent 1 point on equipment drop, assigning a topographical chart on the Demolition Veteran, and 2 Archaeospecs, assigning 1 to the Zealot and 1 to the Flamer. Then I spent another acquisition point on asset acquired and chose Mad Bay to expand my base of operation. I have a feeling that the Astra will need it.
After shooting down the plane, the command orcs learned that the plane was carrying a particularly important document. Without thinking too much, the orcs have assembled a team to go get the loot before others get their hands on it. Or maybe they know that there will be people to beat and they're not interested in the document at all. Who knows? The spec hope chosen by my orcs is Elimination. The first operation is to complete 5 games in which they score victory points from the attack Hope, Rob and Ransack. The team assembled by the commandos is composed of a Nob armed with Power Claw, who's the biggest orc in the camp and also the leader, a Sneaky Grot whose only task is to secure the document. Then we have the Rocket Boy and Comms Boy who managed to take down the plane and intercept the message. Next in line we have 2 operatives who prefer hand-to-hand combat, the Slasher Boy and Breacher Boy. Then there is the Sniper Boy who prefers to kill the enemy from afar, the Daka Boy who has seen a mafia movie and now believes himself to be the Godfather, an Arsonist, the Burner Boy, and the most important operative, a Squeak Bomb. Then I spent 1 acquisition point to get the equipment drop and give a Sledgehammer to the Daka Boy and an Archeo Auspex to the Cons Boy and Rocket Boy.
The community has chosen the Orks as attackers, so I've deployed in the defender drop zone at the bottom left. My kill team has the advantage of numerical superiority, being 14 operatives against 10 of the Orks. I will have to try to use my firepower and be able to recover the document before it falls into the hands of the greenskins. Come on, men of Krieg, the hunt is on!
Some time ago we made you choose which kill team you prefer, and apparently my orcs have the community on their side. Which means that, for this match, the orcs will start with an additional command point as community bonus. Commandos have a skill that allows them to charge despite a concealed order, so I'll have to make best use of the covers in order to grab the document safely and stomp humans hard.
It's time to do the scouting phase. Each of us chooses a number of dice equal to the corresponding number of the choice. 1 for Fortify, 2 for Infiltrate and 3 for Recon. Green dice for the Orcs and grey dice for Astra. I chose Infiltrate while Andrea chose Fortify. Being the defender, I go first and change the order of the confident veteran. The topographical chart allows me to perform an additional scouting option, and I choose Recon. Then I move the demolition 3 inches, bringing him next to the gazebo.
Since I need as much cover as possible, I put a barrier near the central point of interest, so that I can get close without any problems. Also, having chosen Fortify, I have the initiative over Infiltrate. So, me first.
I try to divide my kill team into 2 fronts in order to reach the lateral points of interest safely and at the same time try to divide the Orcs, which are outnumbered. In the center, the Sniper and the Spotter will keep an eye on the battlefield. The leader is deployed on the left, ready to give orders to the operatives near him, while his second in command is with the group on the right.
Being the attacker, I deployed second. I tried to position my operatives in order to try to take a point of interest and keep it thus avoiding being surrounded by enemies. I deployed the Nob with the 2 melee orcs on the right side, since there are fewer enemies and it would be easier for me to eliminate them without too many problems. While on the left side, seeing all those Krieg operatives sticking together, I decided to deploy there the Squeak Bomb and the Burner Boy, hoping to thin them all at once.
In the strategy phase, I use Deploy into the breach for 1 command point, which grants a free dash action to my operatives within the drop zone during their activation.
I use the strategic ploy Shh for 1 command point, which allows my operatives to immediately perform a free dash if they are not in enemy sight or have a concealed order and are more than 6 inches away from the enemies. So my Comms, the Squeak Bomb, the Daka Boy and the Rocket Boy dash forward, while the Burner Boy is unfortunately the only model that the Astra sees and therefore cannot move. In the meanwhile, the group on the right moves silently, waiting for the enemy.
This turn, I reveal 2 TAC Ops, Protect Assets and Central Control. Plus, my leader gives the order move, move, move to operatives within 6 inches of him, giving them 1 extra inch of movement.
The first operative to activate is Terry, my Comms, who gives an additional APL to Nero, the Burner Boy, then turns to the point of interest and searches for the document. 5+ to find it thanks to the Archeo Auspex. And there it is! 2 victory points to me and the document under my control. And he just wanted to send a letter to Santa Claus. Also, the Comms has a skill that allows him to perform a free pickup action, so, as the last action, Terry places the document in his pocket.
Seriously? Did you find it on the first try? I spent 2 equipment points on those Archeo aspects. My leader doesn't know that the document has already been found, so he moves next to the gazebo and searches for the document, earning 1 victory point.
The Rocket Boy, also known as Richard, approaches the central tree. Then, seeing the enemies hidden behind the signs, turns and fires a rocket on the Krieg Confidant, making 5 shots at 4, hitting only 3.
Penetration -1 and cover, I have to roll 1 dice at 5. Fail. Rerolling with a command point. Yeah, that's better. 3 wounds left for the Confidant. Not a good start. Tess, the sniper, does a free dash forward and positions herself in the trees, then takes aim and opens fire on the orc that fired the rocket earlier. For it's a 2+. 3 hit.
Being in cover, I save 1 dice automatically. For the other 2, I need 5+. Not even close. 6 wounds to Richard. Upon activation, my leader increases Arnold's APL by 1. Then, seeing the opposing leader rummaging through the gazebo, Chuck rushes to look for the document. Evidently the orcs have some communication problems.
Hector, the plasma gun, uses movement and dash to get to a good central position, then sees the orc leader next to the gazebo and shoots him. 4 normal shots at 4+. 2 hit, including a critical hit.
-1 penetration and then in the 6 to save the crit. Rerolling 1 with a command point. Nothing. 7 wounds left to Chuck. Jason tries to eliminate the plasma silently with a throwing knife, making 4 shots at 3. Just 2.
Thanks to the cover, 1 dice is automatically successful. Rolling 2 dice at 5. Okay, he's still alive. Without the cover, he would have died.
Not happy, Jason charges in to finish the job.
Byro moves and positions himself next to his partner, then places the rifle on the barrier and shoots the orc behind the pile of scraps. 4 shots at 4. 2 hit, including a critical hit.
Saving at 5+. With that 6 and the cover, he's totally fine.
Trooper veterans can activate 2 at a time, so Vance uses movement and dash to get to the gazebo, but not seeing the orc leader due to the conceal order, he's waiting for other targets.
Erwin, my sniper, tries to help his teammates and targets the Cadian behind the barrier, making 6 shots at 3. Hitting 4 with 2 crits.
1 dice is successful for cover, so saving with 2 dice at 5. I saved 2. Unfortunately, however, the sniper makes mortal wounds with a critical hit, so my defenses are not enough. Pyro collapses to the ground unconscious. The flamer only has 6 inches of range, so Patrick moves forward in search of targets using movement and dash.
Arnold uses 2 of his 3 APLs to move and for the action scramble over, but having the conceal order, he can't do anything else.
Al-Assar the Demolition is preparing to perform the most epic and reckless action ever. Silently, thanks to the increased movement for the order, he approaches the orc and places the mine right behind him, in a position where only the greenskin is hit. Then he uses a free dash of the action plant mine and walks away from a safe distance, ready to detonate it.
Mayhem doesn't want to be left out of the fight in the center and rushes next to Richard. Arrived at his destination, he tries to riddle the confident with bullets, making 5 shots at 4.
Saving with 3 dice at 5. It's a good roll, but having only 3 wounds left isn't enough. Raphael falls to the ground, his heart stopped. Luckily, the medic is right next to him and intervenes immediately, using his ability to take out the defibrillators and bring his partner back to life. The confident has returned from the world of the dead, with only 1 wound left. I love the medic, it's a wonderful role. Julius moves towards the tree and feels an urgent need to look for his presence, but only finds a victory point. Growlin uses movement and the free dash and positions himself inside of the orc with the rockets. Then he takes aim and opens fire, 4 shots at 4. He was probably out of breath for the rush.
By being in cover, Richard is automatically safe. Nero moves and dashes in the direction of the central area, but notices that his flamethrower is off. But thanks to the additional action, he looks for something among the ammunition crates to light it up. And in the meantime, he takes 1 victory point.
Kirov, the spotter, manages to locate the Burna Boy's location and requests a mortar barrage at that point. The hit comes shortly after, making 5 shots at 4. Wow! Apparently the hit didn't come close enough to kill him.
With that crit, I need a 6 to save those wounds. Nothing to do. 7 wounds left to poor Nero. Jeff sees the comms by waving the document in his direction, and being a good grot, he shoots his grappling hook on the pile of scraps and approaches his partner.
Raphael, the advisor, activates the directive and orders the medic to activate after him. Then he targets the Burna Boy and shoots him. 4 shots at 4 due to the injury. 2 critical hits and 2 normal.
Ouch. 2 defense dice at 5. 1 passes automatically and 1 defense a critical. I use deploy just a scratch for 1 command point to ignore a critical dice and only pass a normal dice. Down to 4 wounds and injured.
Alexander, the medic, breaks his Hippocratic oath and shoots the Burna Boy, trying to put him in the grave once and for all before he incinerates them whole. 4 hits at 4. 3 hits, great!
I need to save them. 5+ to succeed. Damn. Well, at least I completed the straights from 6 to 1. But at what cost? Nero leaves us. My squeak, Donut, moves forward a little while hiding behind the hedge.
Yenne the Zealot moves and dashes behind the barrier to control the center of the field. Once she spotted the Rocket Boy, she fires 4 shots at 4. I used deploy combined arms for 1 command point to reroll the failed shots. That's nice, 3 hit with 1 critical.
Saving once again the crit with 6. Man, I need to stop completing those traits. Richard is dead as well.
Thanks to this skill, Yen earns 1 victory point by completing the first step of the TAC-OP Protect Assets.
Having run out of models to activate, I can shoot Overwatch. So Mayhem tries to avenge his friend by shooting the Zealot in front of him. -1 to hit for Overwatch, so 5 shots at 5, and being within 6 inches of the target, I can reroll all missed shots. Rerolling 3, just 3 hit.
She has cover, so 1 dice is already successful. Plus, the Zealot can reroll all saving throws against shooting, saving a 5+. Rerolling 1. All saved, the Emperor protects. Arthur uses movement and free dash to get to the site of the point of interest, and with the last action, he searches for the document. 1 victory point for me.
This first round didn't go quite as I expected. Unfortunately, I realized too late that in order to get through the point of interest, I needed an APL. And not being able to move the Burna Boy in the strategy phase, I got stuck. Fortunately, however, I was able to find the document on the first try, and this gives me a considerable advantage. Now, I just had to concentrate on keeping the operator carrying the document alive and completing my TAC ops.
Andrea finding the document on the first try was a hard blow. Now he has the chance to lead the game, and if he can keep it, he can secure the victory. My operatives are doing well, but I need an extra effort from them. The Kriegs will not leave the battlefield until they recover the document, should it cost them their lives. For now, I'll focus on getting as many points as possible from the TAC ops. Then I'll hunt down the bearer of the document.
Rolling for initiative. 4, good.
Yes! Krieg has the initiative. In this round, Victor gives the order fix bayonets to his men within 6 inches of him, giving them the chance to reroll hit rolls of 1 in melee. Halasar is about to kick off the moment he has been waiting for throughout the first round. With a dark green, which you can see because of the mask, he activates the detonation mechanism and the mine explodes, hitting only the orc, making 4 hits at 2. 1 critical and 2 normal hits.
Please, I need to save him. 2 dice at 5 for the penetration, not even 1. And with 16 wounds, Jason is just dead.
Boom, baby! After having painted that macabre picture, he decides to go and have a closer look and approaches the tree.
Upon activating, Chuck once again gives Arnold an additional APL and charges the soldier hidden behind the barrier. Then makes 4 attacks at 3, hitting 3.
Due to the brutal ability of the Orc's weapon, I can only save with critical hits. 3 dice at 4+. Rerolling 1 for the order. 2 successful hits.
Having charged, my leader begins the combat by doing damage with the first dice.
I just have to do damage with this attack.
And Chuck throws a massive punch that knocks down the Cadian, but remaining with 5 wounds.
Growling can't handle the punch and passes out.
Having eliminated an operative within 1 inch and having no enemies within 3 inches, Chuck completes the first step of the TAC op Rob and Ransack, earning 1 victory point.
Victor witnesses the scene and charges the Nob, initiating a leader versus leader challenge. 4 attacks at 3. With 2 critical passed thanks to the little 5+ ability, Victor eliminates the orc before he can even react.
Chuck collapses to the ground stunned by the bludgeon hit, and with him out of the game, I can't take the second victory point for the TAC op Rob and Ransack.
Victor, thanks to this skill, earns the second victory point of the TAC op Protect Assets.
Donut sees a piece of meat wandering distractedly too close, and decides to jump on the soldier to eat him all in one piece. 3 bites at 4, just to hit.
Arthur responds with 3 hits at 4. Wow! Hitting all 3! The power of the bayonet.
Donut bites into the Krieg's leg, inflicting 4 wounds.
The man screams in pain and with the next dice parries the Squig's remaining attack and inflicts 2 damage, dealing 4 wounds.
Poor Donut is left with 2 wounds and is injured, but is even angrier than before.
I think that wound will leave you with a nice scar. The medic uses a medikit on the confidant, healing him for 2d3 wounds. 5 wounds healed, with the remaining wound is now with 6 in total. Then Alexander moves behind the barrier in the center of the battlefield.
Mayhem moves forward to get a better view of the confidant, then aiming at the head, shoots him 5 shots at 4. But he slipped, rerolling all the failed hits for his ability, hitting only 2 shots.
Okay, he might even survive if I save a few hits at 5+. Here it is! I don't believe it, he's still alive! Medic, come back!
Mayhem dashes back with the free action of his ability as if nothing happened.
Oh, don't worry, no one has seen anything. Hector, left with only 2 wounds, changes the order to conceal and looks for the document in the pile of scraps, gaining 1 victory point.
Arnold changes his order to engage to be able to shoot the Cadian in front of him. Then he takes his trusty slugga and fires 4 shots at 4, hitting 1 crit and 1 normal.
Saving with 3 dice at 5. 3 of a kind! Is that worth something?
Yes, a model removal from the board.
I don't like it.
As a second action, Arnold searches for the document, gaining 1 victory point. And then, with the last action remaining, he moves in the direction of the enemy leader.
Patrick moves under the street lamp to see better, and thanks to the light, he searches for the document and finds the last victory point available for this point of interest.
Erwin changes his order to engage and approaches screaming at the enemy leader. Then he stops and fires 6 shots at 3 to his target, hitting half of them.
Come on, Victor, you can do it! 3 dice at 5. I can't let you die, rerolling with a command point. Here we go, my leader is safe.
Maybe next time you don't want to announce your position, Erwin.
Here are your scars. The Confidant gives the directive to the Zealot, then moves behind the barrier. Tired of being targeted, Raphael shoots the Orc wearing the hat. 4 shots at 4. Wow, it's the festival of the ones today.
Saving with 3 dice at 5. Rerolling the dice with a command point. Not even this time. 3 wounds to Mayhem.
Yen receives the directive and activates, then she decides to fire on the Orc in front of her. 4 shots at 4. Just 1, but since the Orc is in cover, he is automatically safe. Not happy, the Zealot charges him.
Terry leaves the document in front of Jeff, and then returns to send a letter to Santa, earning another victory point.
The gunner falls back and gets as far away as possible from the strange squig filled with explosives.
Jeff collects the document and puts it safely in his backpack, then turns and shoots his grappling hook on the gazebo, moving close to his companions and hiding behind the tree.
Julius changes the order in engage and charges head down the Orc in front of him. Then, with the bayonet, he unleashes 3 attacks at 3 thanks to the support of his partner Zealot. All hit!
Mayhem responds with 4 attacks at 4, hitting 2.
With the first attack, the Cadian does damage.
Mayhem also does damage with the first attack.
Julius parries the Orc's last attack and deals damage with the remaining dice.
With 3 wounds remaining, Mayhem is injured and afraid.
3 wounds left to Julius as well.
Arnold tries to help Erwin in his mission and fires 4 shots at 5 because of the overwatch on the enemy leader, hitting only 1 crit.
I need to say with a 6 or 2 5s. There it is! You can't kill him! Tess has no more targets inside, so she uses movement and dash to position herself in a better spot from which she can have more enemies at gunpoint.
Erwin tries to remedy the previous bad shots by firing Overwatch on the leader again. 6 shots at 4. You must be kidding me.
I just need a 5 this time. As always, a 5 and a bunch of 1s, but the 5 is there, so it's totally fine. Kirov has no targets to spot, so she moves closer to the bench. The numerical superiority of the Astra is starting to work and the Orcs are falling one by one. At the moment I am at 9 victory points, but my biggest problem is that Andrea managed to deliver the document to the grot, and that little devil has the ability to teleport from one side of the battlefield to the other in an instant. I will have to plan the movements of my models well to be able to block him and take the document from him. Should the grot finish the match in possession of the marker, Andrea would win the game, and I cannot allow that.
2 more violent orcs have fallen in battle, and I'm having a hard time eliminating even the weakest human. My only hope of victory at the moment is to keep the grot alive. We are not very fine in victory points, but Simone has almost the total control of the field. If I manage to take the initiative in the next round, I absolutely must be able to kill at least the enemy leader and keep Jeff hidden. Then anything can happen, and I will be fine with it anyway. Rolling for initiative. Yes, the initiative is mine.
I can't beat 6, unfortunately.
To avoid other nasty surprises, I use the strategic ploy Daka 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 using the community command point, hoping it will bring me luck. In the shooting phase, orcs can maintain a failed roll as if it were successful if I maintain a critical hit.
Victor gives the order fix bayonets once again to the men around him.
The first agent to activate is Erwin, who for the 3rd time attempts to shoot the enemy leader. But this time, use the crosshair please. 6 shots at 3. With that crit, he hits every shot. Thank you, community.
Hey guys, I think this is it. Not saving at 5. Surprise! He's dead. You survived a lot longer than I thought. You deserve a nice thumbs up. Patrick, the Flamer, changes the order to engage and scrambles over, arriving in sight of the grot and the other orc. Then he turns on the grill and starts the barbecue. 5 shots at 2 on both, starting with the grot. Rerolling the one with a command point to be sure. All hit.
I need a miracle to save him. 3 dice at 5. Oh my, he's blessed.
5 hits at 2, also on the orc. 4 hit.
3 dice at 5 to save Arnold. Just 1. I use the tactical ploy just a scratch for 1 command point, ignoring an attack dice and letting only 4 wounds pass. Jeff is down to just 1 wound and is injured, and Arnold is left with 6 wounds. Afraid for his life, Jeff gets as far away as possible from the Nuts Flamer that wants to burn the document and hides behind the bench.
Tess is in a great position to take out the Breacher Boy and silently takes aim and fires 4 shots at 2. 2 normal hits and 1 critical, which means 3 additional mortal wounds.
Arnold is in cover, so he needs a 6 to save the crit and a 5 for the normal hit. The 6 is there. No, so close! Arnold is dead. I guess he's not that tough after all. Terry closes the mailbox and earns the last available victory point from that point of interest, and then decides to charge the limping human hidden behind the hedge. Arrived in combat, Terry throws 3 punches at 3 on the Krieg. Hitting 2.
Arthur, caught off guard, fails to respond and collapses to the ground unconscious.
Having killed an isolated enemy, I reveal the attack op, capture the hostage and infiltrate. Terry earns me 2 victory points and is then removed from the field along with his hostage.
The Confidant gives the directive to the medic next to him, then realizes that he has the squig stuffed with explosives inside, so decides to fire on him 4 shots at 4 because of the injury. The critical is the only one to hit.
Donut needs 6 to save. He can do it. Or not. Goodbye, Donut. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, Simone.
Yeah, I got it. Raphael decides to move towards his kidnapped companion to try in vain to reach him. The medic is activated by the directive and moves towards the center of the battlefield. Then Alexander searches for the document and earns the last victory point of the points of interest.
Mayhem, annoyed by the growing number of humans around him, tries to eliminate some of them. So he targets the Cadian in front of him by delivering 4 hits at 4 due to the injury, eliminating the Cadian by hammering him in the head.
But this is like WWE, and Julius just passed out despite the hammering. Given the excellent result of the first one, the Demolition tries again and places another mine next to the sniper, then uses the free dash of the ability to move back. Kirov moves in a position where she can intercept the grot next turn in case he moves there. Yenne, after witnessing her partner's fainting, she throws herself on the orc, making 3 attacks at 4, knocking him out with a crit.
Don't you ever miss a 6 once in a while? Mayhem falls into the snow and falls asleep.
Satisfied with her work, the Zealot positions herself behind the bench in cover. Hector uses movement and dash to get himself a little further and in a good place.
There isn't much to do at this point. Regardless of who takes the initiative, if my grot dies in the next turn, the game is lost. My sniper boy could block a couple of crits in combat, but will still remain the Zealot next to Jeff. I have to hope for another divine intervention so that Simone misses all the shots in close combat.
Most of the Orc skill team has been knocked out, only that damn grot remains hidden behind the bench and with the document in hand. Luckily, my Zealot is very close to him and is able to charge and kill him. I have to hope to hit with at least 1 dice, otherwise the victory will be Andreas, despite his entire team being eliminated. Fortunately, thanks to my numerical superiority, I was able to place operatives at every point that the grot could use to teleport. This time, he will not escape me.
Rolling for initiative. 6.
5. Initiative is yours. My Confidant took over the role of leader after the elimination of Victor, so he gives the order move to the operatives next to him to give them more movement to reach the grot in case he escapes.
Erwin, trying to protect Jeff, charges the Demolition veteran in front of him, staying in the fight with both the Kriegs, blocking them in combat. Then he attacks the Demolition, making 3 attacks at 3. Yet again,
Alasar responds with 3 attacks at 3 thanks to the support of his partner. All hit!
I need Erwin to stay alive, so I defend with the only dice available.
The Demolition does damage with both remaining dice.
6 wounds left is enough.
Now is the moment we've all been waiting for. Yenne charges the grot and enters combat. Then she stares intently at the grot to avoid missing him, and does 3 attacks at 4. This is it! He's dead!
Little Jeff gets scared and runs away using the grappling hook.
Luckily, Yen quickly grabs the backpack from the Grot's shoulders, obtaining the document. Additionally, she takes a flag out of her backpack and plants it on the ground, directly into the opponent's drop zone. I revealed the attack called Plant Banner, and thanks to my Zealot, I gained 2 victory points. Both Hector and Alasar fell back from the fight, leaving line of sight on the Orc to their teammates. The sniper changes the order in engage, then advances, positioning herself next to the barrier. Tess fires at the Orc, making 4 shots at 2. Reroll a dice with a command point to be sure. 1 critical hit and 1 normal hit.
Need 1-5 and 1-6 to save him. Double 5 is not enough, meaning that the last Orc on the battlefield is gone. Although the document is in the hands of the Astra, I also managed to take something of value. My comms, the only Orc left, is on his way to the base with a prisoner from whom he can extract information on human patrols. Should he obtain information, he may be able to determine safe routes for their kill team to take during raids. My Orcs will have their revenge and make the humans pay dearly for this defeat. One last thing though. As he walked away from the battle with his prisoner, the comms found footprints heading into the woods, near the scene of the battle. I wonder, could they belong to the Inquisitor?
My Kriegs did it! It wasn't easy, but in the end they managed to take possession of the document. Being encrypted, they will not be able to read it, they will have to bring it back to the base of the command. Unfortunately, one of the kill team members appears to be missing. A series of 3 tracks indicate that someone managed to escape from there. The Kriegs have an important choice ahead of them. But now, it's time to take care of the wounded. At the end of the game, each operative who has been eliminated must take a casualty test to see if he's dead or have suffered battle scars. A d6 is rolled, on a 2+, the test passes. With 1, the operative suffers a battle scar. Fortunately, none of my men were injured. Well, apart from 1 maybe.
Of course, my leader is injured. In this case, another d6 is rolled to determine what kind of battle scar he has obtained. With another 1, he is definitely dead. 3. Chuck has a severe concussion. Until he heals, he will have -1 to the ballistic skill. Fortunately, no other operative on my kill team failed the test. The Squig has an ability called Stupid. Donut cannot gain experience, but automatically passes the casualty test. One good news though, my comms boy managed to take as prisoner one of the Kriegs, and will now torture him for information.
If you want to know what happens to Arthur, know that you will decide his fate through a vote in the community section. Furthermore, in the next few days, there will be several polls where you'll be able to vote. Remember that you now have the option to decide the name of the Krieg kill team. If you want to have the possibility to name it, write your suggestion in the comments. We will choose the names we like the most and we'll do a community poll so that you can choose between them the final name of the kill team. The person who has proposed the name that will be chosen will have a small additional reward.
In the next few days, we will also post the update on the experience points for the members of the 2 kill teams in the community section, and know that the lore of the campaign will continue there and on Twitter. Do not miss the updates!
And with this, we conclude. If you like our content and want to help us grow the channel, we have an account on the platform Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us with donations. Any help you can give us to improve the channel is welcome. We are counting on you. The link is in the description.
And if you have come this far, write the word donut in the comments to let us know. You are the best! And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys!
See you next video!